Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday night, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me again. It is March 7th, 2018, the night that we are doing this broadcast. I appreciate everybody who continues to follow me and make sure that you share the videos. So when you jump on, make sure that you share these Facebook videos right away, because we are following a woman's health journey, and that is taking us down this rabbit hole of breast cancer, or for cancer risk completely. It doesn't have to be for breast cancer, but we've been following Penny. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, make sure that you go to discoveryhealthlifestyle.com. Okay? That's where you're going to see the articles that I write. You're going to see Penny's story, and you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Her risks, why she's worried about breast cancer, and what she's doing. One step at a time, the testing that she's going through. We're sharing her results, and that's a big deal. She was willing to share her results, which are not 100% normal. And, she had a thermography of her breasts, and next we'll talk about her mammogram. But those results are out there on the internet now. And you know why? Because you need to hear about it. Or you know somebody who needs to hear about it. So share this video. We are talking about your risk and actually the things that you need to do now to change your risk of getting cancer or breast cancer, if that's the particular one that you're worried about. Don't forget to go to drkellyfelmer.com, and please share that website with people as well. That's where people can sign up to make an appointment with me, or more importantly, get on the email list. Hey, Tony. And that's where we can stay connected. I'm always here on Wednesdays nights. Please give me likes, and please be sure to share the videos. That's how we reach all of those other women, all of those other men who are fearful that they're going to get cancer or have a health condition that they need someone like me, someone who works from a functional perspective, an integrated perspective, who gets it. Hi, Penny. And is willing to work with people to change their risk, to change their outcomes. Not to just give you a medication, but let's work on changing things. So tonight we're talking about the things that you need to do to change your risk. 70 to 90% of cancer, all cancers, is caused from the environment and your culture, not your genes. Everybody thinks that, oh, mom had this, my aunt had this, my uncle had this, it runs in my family. That's only 5% of cancers. Hi, Connie. Hi, Lindsay. Hey, Jenna. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Don't forget to share. Please share. Let me repeat that. 70 to 90% of cancer is caused by your environment. And I don't just mean the outside world. When I say the environment, it's your terrain, okay? What you've got going on inside your body, the environment, and how it affects your body. So tonight, 8 top things that you need to change today if you want to change your risk. The last time that we did a Facebook Live, the question came up that doesn't everybody have cancer cells, circulating cancer cells all the time? And the answer was yes. Up on the board there, you'll also see, though, that when they did a research study and measured healthy adults have 500 to 1,000 new cancer cells daily. Okay, so you may be saying, hi, Bev, I don't have to worry about this. I don't have cancer. It doesn't run in my family. I'm fine. But your environment, the world that we live in, how you take care of your body is what's really putting you at risk. And so every single day is a new chance to make it different. If you've been doing it wrong, if you've been eating tons of junk and you drink tons of alcohol and you're a smoker or whatever the thing may be, you can change it and it's going to make a difference, okay? So we have new cancer cells every single day, and it's your body's responsibility to nip those in the bud and take care of that so it doesn't grow into a tumor. So let's do that. prevention is so much more powerful than finding it early and still having to treat it. Still having to do all these things that I'm going to tell you on the board. But if you do these now, you're really decreasing your risk of ever getting cancer. And we know how horrible it is. Everybody fears it. There are so many people who die from it. Why don't you take it into your own hands and stop it before it's a problem? Please share this video. There are so many people who want to hear this information. So let's get a little bit closer to the board and see what we're going to talk about. So first things first, we're going to start over on that left-hand side, things to change now. Okay? So I made a list of 8 things. No high sugar foods. Okay? You see this little picture here that I drew for you? This is a can of soda. And I'd like you to start thinking of soda as just cancer in a can. So if you insist on drinking your soda, no matter if it's regular or if it's diet, I want you to translate that. Think every time you pick up that can, oh yeah, cancer in a can. Yeah, you have the power to change that. It's sugar, 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 and if it's diet, it's fake sugar and it's even worse. We've had those talks before. Go back and look at those sugar talks that we've had. Only grass-fed meat. Okay, so there's a lot of information out there about cancer that you have to avoid all meats, right? But what the research shows when they actually study it is that this thing called grass-fed beef is a real thing. And it's amazing. When you are eating red meat, and red meats tend to be the ones that are more carcinogenic, but they're carcinogenic because of all of the antibiotics, all of the hormones, and all of the grain and inflammatory foods that are fed to the cows. They get a ton of corn because it fattens them up. A cow can make twice as much milk when they're fed corn versus just having to eat grass. It takes a lot longer for them to grow and mature and get big enough to be able to butcher to be turned into meat if they don't do that. But those are the practices that make the cow very inflammatory, make the milk very inflammatory, and that puts us at risk for cancer. So if and when you eat red meat, choose organic, choose grass-fed. And that also means grass-fed to the end. There's also some practices out there, or some farmers who will say that their beef is grass-fed, but then at the very end, the last couple of weeks, they give them a whole bunch of corn. Ruin the whole thing! But they wanted to add a little fat, add a little more weight, so that farmer can make a little bit more money, and that's understandable, but now that just ruined that meat for you if you want to prevent cancer. Make sure that it's grass-fed. Make sure that it's organic no matter what kind of meat you're eating. Specifically, though, as I'm talking about the red meat. No tobacco. We know smoking causes cancer. If you're a smoker, please work to quit. You only have to decide it, and you'll be able to do it. Research also shows that no matter what it is that you use to quit smoking, everything is equally effective. All you have to do is make up your mind that you're going to do it. Right behind that is to move more, get more exercise. Because, guess what? Now they're talking about how being sedentary is the new smoking. Equal to, as far as that's concerned, in your health. That's horrible. So if you don't exercise at all, it's as good as smoking every day. What? That's how much it increases your risk for having a disease or developing cancer. That's horrible. All you have to start to do, though, is move a little bit more. Move more daily, okay? Just get up, start walking, do a little bit, okay? Move more. You got to start to exercise, and we'll build upon that. But people who exercise have less cancer, and if they do get cancer, have a better prognosis. Don't you want that to be you? Clean up the chemicals, okay? Chemicals at your home, at your work, in the total environment, in your body, and you got to detox heavy metals as well. So mercury, cadmium, aluminum, drinking your cancer in a can out of aluminum. You just caused yourself another problem. You got to get your vitamin D checked. And then if you're overweight, you have to lose weight. We have to start working for you to lose weight. It's a risk factor all by itself. And so these 8 things are the primary thing you need to take away from tonight. What do I need to do? Just tell me. Here you go. 8 things. The rest of the board, and as we talk about that, describes or tells you why. Why are these the 8 that met the list? Well, I'm going to explain that to you. But just focus on these 8 things. That's the most important part. Got to lose weight if you're overweight, and I'm going to show you some research that explains why. And then lastly, if you are one of those people who are not getting enough sleep or who are stressed to the max, you got to stop. You have to sleep because that's when your body repairs itself. If you are only getting 4 hours a night, you're going to get sick and you're at a higher risk for cancer. If your stress is so overwhelming, you're at a higher risk for getting cancer. Now, let me explain those things just a little bit more. So these are numbered out of order because I went by the numbering over here, okay? But we're going to start with sugar. Sugar, 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 sugar. How does sugar cause me a problem when we're looking at preventing cancer? Well, sugar feeds cancer. All cancer cells need glucose, need sugar to survive and to grow and mature. So if you're putting in a ton of sugar, the cancer cells are saying thank you because you're just helping them to grow, okay? That's one thing. But a lot of sugar causes inflammation. Inflammation causes this thing to go up, IGF-1. And if IGF-1 goes up, well, hey, did you know that IGF-1, high levels of IGF-1, well, they're responsible for 1/3 of all breast cancers. Wow, that's a lot. And we haven't talked about anything else. 1/3 of breast cancer specifically, this was studied, is from sugar. Because sugar causes inflammation, it increases IGF-1, and now that risk has really, really gone up. And everybody who's gotten breast cancer already, 1/3 of them, the cause is sugar. Now, did I say you could have no sugar whatsoever? Did I say you could never have a treat? No, I didn't say any of that. Where did we start? No high sugar foods. You got to cut down sugar. Get rid of those things that give you a ton of sugar. Start using fruits, specifically berries, which are great. Sweet, they can pacify that sweet, but they're a low sugar kind of food. So yes, getting rid of the cakes and the donuts and the sodas. That's common sense, people. But you got to get better, you got to get better, you got to get better. Okay? This is the reality that if you want to live a long life, if you want to be healthy, because the American healthcare system doesn't let anybody die. So you may still live long, but you're going to have a very poor quality of life. And I can't tell you how many grandmas and grandpas that I talk to on a regular basis who are so happy that they can spend so much time with their grandchildren and want to be able to run around with their grandchildren. So don't ruin that, okay? Don't ruin that for your children and your grandchildren or other people that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Number 7 here, which is actually number 2 on this list, is about being overweight. Now, I know you can't read the green here very well, so I'm going to read it to you. Being overweight is responsible for 1 in 6 cancer deaths. Just being overweight is responsible for 1 in 6 cancer deaths. Overweight contributes to 20% of all cancer cases. 20%. Wow, just for being overweight. Being overweight doubles your risk of breast cancer. That's significant. That's huge. Doubles your risk of breast cancer if you're overweight. I'm not talking about 5 pounds, and I'm not talking about 10 pounds. A significant amount of being overweight, 40 or 50, and then, of course, anything above that doubles your risk of getting breast cancer. And then overeating, so eating too much, getting too much fuel, which means too much sugar, which means too much insulin. We've talked about that. Increased sugar increases insulin, which also increases this biomarker, C-peptide. Increased risk of 50% to have an invasive cancer if you do get it. Wow, all that from just being overweight. It's pretty significant. 5 pounds doesn't do that to you. 10 pounds overweight is no big deal, people. Okay, it's no big deal. But 50 pounds and up, ton of inflammation. Now the insulin's up. Now your IGF-1 is up and your C-peptide is up, and it has completely changed your risk. So if we talked about nothing else tonight, out of the 8 things on the list, those would be the top 2 important things. Wow. Sugar and being overweight dramatically changes your risk of getting cancer. And then if you do get cancer, again, invasive, you're going to have a 50% increase risk of having something invasive, so more advanced when you are diagnosed, that it grew really fast and wow, it's spreading everywhere. And then the prognosis isn't as good either, that you're going to die earlier, faster. It's going to be harder to treat. How about we avoid those things? We need to change our foods, change our diet, get moving a little bit. Change your risk. The next one is vitamin D. It was number 6 on the list over there. We talk about vitamin D a lot. I've got several videos about vitamin D out on my website, both drkellyfelmer.com and a discoveryhealthlifestyle.com. Go check those out. I talk all about vitamin D. But specifically related to cancer, breast cancer, they have found a breast cancer woman with a less than 20 for vitamin D, which is pitifully low. They often find a high tumor size. They find large tumors in the women who have low vitamin D when we're talking about breast cancer. If it's at least above 30, but 30 is the bare minimum for vitamin D. But if it's above 30, they have an increased survival rate of 3 years compared to the people it was less than 20. This is so easy to do. Super easy to take a supplement for vitamin D. Super easy to get some sunshine, which makes natural vitamin D, but get tested. Get tested first so you know how much you need. Okay, not everybody needs 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. You have to find out what your level is first, and then you'll know what you need or how much. Your goal should be to get that vitamin D level above 60. Okay? Above 60 is where you've eliminated that additional risk because of your vitamin D. I can't stress enough. Stress can kill you. Stress alone can just wreck your body and deplete everything. What they've also found in breast cancer has been studied up and down. Lots and lots and lots of studies related to that. But when you have a cortisol pattern, and we've talked about this, it should start at a good level in the morning because you've slept all night long. Then it spikes up 2 hours after you get up, and then it goes down through the rest of the day so you can sleep at night. So that's kind of the pattern. And people that they've found who are totally stressed out and their cortisol patterns are pretty flat or don't have that nice spike and then go lower, well, guess what happens to them? When it's flattened, they've increased their risk for an advanced stage. So those women who have flattened cortisols, they've been stressed out to the max for too long of a period of time, and now they get diagnosed with cancer, and it's already advanced. It's a stage 3 or a stage 4. Oof. Wow. All right, and then the last one that we're talking about right here is actually the grass-fed meat. The other thing that I didn't say yet is that grass-fed meat is equivalent. It gives you the health benefits of eating wild fish, right? Wild salmon. They talk about salmon all the time and the great health benefits of that. Well, if it's grass-fed meat, it's just as beneficial. It actually has, and when we get over here, we're talking about the alpha-lipoic acid or omega-3 fatty acids. Grass-fed beef has just as much as deep-sea fish caught in the wild. Perfect. Exactly the opposite, if it's not grass-fed, it's horrible, very inflammatory, causes cancer. And, just in case, for those of you who don't know, do not ever buy farmed fish. Farmed fish live in small areas. They're fed bad things, not their natural diet, and they are full of inflammatory properties. They have completely wiped out everything good about that fish when it is farmed. Do not buy farmed fish. It's the worst thing for you. I'd rather have you not eat any fish than eat farmed fish. Okay? Yeah. When I talked about that already, as far as being corn finished. They even feed corn to the fish, to the salmon. And then they have to add dye to the salmon so that it's pink because it's gray, because it's not fed its natural diet. All right. So then this last section over here is all of the good things that you should be eating in your diet, right? Top of the list. Always choose organic. Always try to use organic, okay? We've got to get rid of the chemicals in your body, and your first step at doing that is stop putting them in. We use so much pesticide, so many toxins on all of our foods. You are getting an overabundance. You need to choose organic. If you can't always afford organic, I want you to go to EWG.com. Right here, EWG, environmentalworkinggroup.com. They give you the clean 15 and the dirty dozen. So it's going to tell you the worst foods as far as being contaminated. You have to buy those organic or don't eat them. All right? But I want you to eat the rainbow. I want you to get as much color in your diet as possible because those colors are meaningful. You know, you look at like a sweet pepper and you can get it in orange and yellow and red and green. How do they turn those colors when they're all sweet peppers? So the color means they have some different properties in there. And those antioxidant properties that give it color give us great health benefits. So eat green vegetables first. Green, green, green. Did you guys see that green smoothie that I posted? And it tasted amazing. And I compared it to that other green shake that's out there right now. Yeah, I think that's a shamrock shake, which is full of what did the ad say? And I don't know if that's completely accurate, but 93 grams of sugar. Something like you should drop over dead just by drinking one, right? Drink green shakes. Put green vegetables whenever you can get them every single day. All vegetables are good though. Low sugar fruits. Medicinal mushrooms, things like, in case you haven't ever heard of them before, turkey tail, Coriolis, cordyceps, reishi, and chaga, incorporating in medicinal mushrooms, okay? Not just run-of-the-mill floor mushrooms. Medicinal mushrooms are going to help your immune system, help give you the properties that you need to fight any cancer. Oh, but wait, remember? We all have cancer cells. Boost up your body so they don't turn into something, okay? Something could be brewing in your body right now and you have no idea. You think you're risk-free, but if you improve your diet, you could stop that from going any further. Your body could find it, calm it down, get rid of it, and you're in the clear. Wild fish, as I talked about already. Good fats. We need fat in our diet, okay? The prognosis and the risk for cancer is worse or increased on people who don't eat fat because you're afraid of getting fat. You need good fats. So omega-9s, like in olive oil, coconut oil, sesame seed, and grape seed are omegas that are really important, that are not talked about enough. And omega-3s found in soy, walnut, almonds, flaxseed, and fish. Awesome. boost up those omegas and the alpha lipoic acid, the EPA, the DHA. The gamma linoleic acid also, borage oil, primrose oil, even shark liver oil. Those are all good fats for you to be getting into your diet, and rotate them. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to choose one of them. Start with one, use another one, because your body's going to benefit from the variety of the different oils as well. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention about is actually this soy and flax. Okay? Now, soy and flax, there's a lot of controversy around those. But again, around breast cancer, they've been studied a ton. Okay? I am not a proponent of soy. I don't like soy. It is a phytoestrogen and it interferes with your thyroid. But many, many, many research articles and actually a meta-analysis of 3 different research studies studied soy. And soy has this thing called genistein. And genistein in the soy can actually decrease your risk of breast cancer, even though it's a phytoestrogen. Now, that study and most of those studies are specific to breast cancer, not necessarily other cancers. Soy is a phytoestrogen, which can mimic and raise estrogen levels, but it has other properties that are actually protective against breast cancer specifically. Doesn't mean you need to go run out and start doing that. The soy, the only thing that gives you that benefit has to be organic and it has to be fermented. Soy milk that you buy in the store is none of those, is neither of those. Although I guess you could probably find organic, but it's not fermented. It has to be a fermented product for a soy to be healthy for you. So there's a lot of different smoothie places or shake places that have soy as their base. Don't do it. It's going to mess up your hormones, it's going to mess up your thyroid, and it's not going to give you this one benefit that soy can have. It has to be fermented to get rid of the poisons that are inside soy. And then it also needs to be organic because soy is completely genetically modified. It's mass-produced, and it's super, super inflammatory for you. Those are all the reasons that I don't suggest soy for the majority of the time. Flax as well is another phytoestrogen, but it too has great benefits from the standpoint of the fats that it has. It has a lot of good alpha lipoic acid, which is the precursor to the EPA, which is in the fish oils. So boosting that up is another way to increase those good oils, and then you've got a great organic product that is helping to boost your nutrition. Whew, I kind of went a whirlwind through that, but gosh darn it, it's already 9 o'clock. Hi, Bonnie. Maplewood Meats does not carry any grass-fed to end beef. Bonnie says, that's good to know. I actually get my grass-fed beef from a friend of mine. So the best thing to do is actually find a farmer who believes in the things that you believe in, believes in health, and if you start going to farmers markets and you start talking to different people, you're going to find out who those farmers are, and then get your name on the list to get a quarter of a cow or a half a cow. So I have a good friend of mine who I get part of a cow every year, and then it goes in the freezer. And we have some steaks, and we have a lot of ground meat, and we know I never buy meat in the store. We know we have grass-fed cows that are carried that way to the end. There is no corn, and that's fantastic. Thanks so much, Mary, for listening and for sharing. Bonnie, maybe I'm talking to you. Yep, Penny, Shaga is fantastic, and we need to know our farmers. So, you guys, what else? I just saw, I see a bunch of hellos, so hello back to everybody. I couldn't see them when I'm at the board. If you have any other questions, now's your opportunity before we already wrap it up. Keep following, though. We're going to keep following this to the end. When I was preparing for this today, I had a different thought in my mind at first, and then I ended up with like 5 pages of notes of things that I wanted to talk about. And this is like only half a page or a page of all the things that we could talk about, all the things that you can do differently. I just feel bad for the people who don't want to, but that's their choice. It's their choice until they get it, and then they want somebody to help them, of course. And I'm never against that, but I really want to empower you that you can change this. And even if you get diagnosed with cancer, go back and look at these things, and we're going to talk more about these things, because this is the tip of the iceberg, really just the tip of the iceberg. I got tons and tons and tons of other stuff that I want to be able to tell you and teach you and know, so that you can be in the best health possible for your spouse, for your children, for your grandchildren, for your friends, whoever is important to you in your life, for your animals. You don't want to get sick. If you're the caregiver and you don't take care of you and you get cancer and you die, now who's taking care of them? And that may have been your priority. So please take good care of yourself, and keep listening, keep following discoveryhealthlifestyle.com, as well as drkellyfelmer.com. I love that you join me. I love that you share the videos, because there's somebody out there who really needs to hear this message. They need to know that there's a different way. You don't have to wait to get cancer, and you don't have to do chemo and radiation. It's your choice of what you do after that, and you can always do a combination of things as well. We're going to go down that road a little bit later. Let's see, Penny, what did you say? How do we know what our ideal weight is? Just Googled it, and it said I should weigh 135. You do not need to weigh 135, Penny. I barely weigh 135, and I should weigh 130, 135, okay? So I float around that number. You're taller than me. And the ideal body weight is figuring out that body mass index. Okay, it's your height and your weight to give you the right percentage. Your BMI should be around 25. But maybe I can post something, and I think it's hard for me to explain, because for every person that's going to be different. You can search BMI. I'm not sure if that's what you just did, Penny, but you got to find a comfortable weight. You would be skinny at 135. That's not your right weight. Okay, so I think where you feel good, where you feel comfortable, and where your breathing is good, and where your exercise is good, all those things to help you make that right amount, to say even when, because the BMI is not perfect either. Cheryl asks, is it okay to eat natural sugars? Is there a daily limit of grams of natural sugars you should have daily? So those natural sugars are better, for sure, than any fake sugars or getting a ton of cane sugar. But yet, Cheryl, you want to avoid foods that have a ton of sugar. I don't have a gram amount for you tonight. What I like to see people do is increasing all of those vegetables, eating more and eating more and eating more. But, a person could eat a ton of fruit every single day and think they're eating healthy, but they're getting so much sugar. Even though it's natural sugar, it still feeds cancer. And your body still has to adapt for that. So keeping blood sugar control, keeping the weight under control, and making sure that insulin doesn't spike are the things to measure to make sure that you're not getting an excess. That's probably the best way to approach it, because different people are going to burn that sugar really fast, and they can tolerate a little bit more than the other person who doesn't burn any, who has a thyroid problem and their metabolism goes really low. They're going to need less sugar. Good question, though. Hard to answer. So thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. I appreciate that. Joni, I don't count things like that. You get plenty of protein. Well, you cut out meat, so that makes it a little bit different. The majority of people get plenty of protein, and you really don't have to worry about it. There's plenty of protein shakes out there as well. I do not focus on macronutrients, which is carbs and protein and the fat. I want you to focus on getting eating the rainbow, getting as much vegetables as you can, the top priority being the greens, a little bit of fruit, a little bit of meat, so your nuts, your protein then would be in nuts and in your fish and in different sources of that. but you are not going to have a lack of protein. Okay? It's something that people worry about a little bit too much, I think. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you on the flip side.